Hi, this is Jeremy Kellett, Director of Recruiting here at Oakley Trucking, and I'm your host for this podcast. This is episode 57. On today's podcast, I want to talk about the new pay raise that was given to all of our owner-operators effective May the 3rd, 2021. So we're going to dive into why we gave the raise and how it works, and hopefully answer some of your questions that you may have. But first, let's check in with Vickie Chastain on this week's Need to Know segment sponsored by Lube Zone.
There are many things that can cause distractions while driving on the road. Talking, using your phone, adjusting your radio, eating, or drinking. These can all distract you from the essential task of driving. Distracted driving, that's this week's Need to Know segment. You cannot drive safely unless driving has your full attention. Any non-driving activity you engage in while behind the wheel is a potential distraction and increases your risk of having an accident. So give your full attention to the way you drive and the way other vehicles around you are driving. Don't be a statistic of distracted driving. I'm Vickie Chastain, and that's this week's Need to Know segment.
I know you've told me a couple times that Lube Zone, you want to get back to like the fastest PM in the business, the 30-minute deal.
Yes, sir.
How'd that come all about? I mean, and how are y'all planning on doing that?
Well, so we are doing it. Right now, our 11 locations operationally, our average time is 35 minutes. So, I mean, we're being very transparent. And that is, keep in mind, from the time you roll in the bay and over the pit. Okay, so you may be one truck back, you may be two truck back, but what's important to understand is when you pull into a lube zone, you got to understand what we're doing is very quick, so you're not going to be there 4 hours.
Doing a good job. LubeZone.com. Tell them you heard it on the Oakley Podcast. So I need you guys, all our listeners, to do something for me. I need you to go to YouTube, Oakley Trucking's YouTube channel. I need you to hit the subscribe button and also the like button. We need more subscribers and more likes on our YouTube channel to be able to help us out and spread the word about the Oakley Podcast. So, and also go to your wherever you're listening to the podcast at and put in some reviews. Good reviews helps us a lot too. And the main goal is just to get the word out there about the Oakley Podcast and Oakley Trucking and Bruce Oakley all together. So be sure and help us on that. And if you don't understand how to do that, man, ask a buddy, ask one of us, and let us know. But spread the word about the Oakley Podcast. And if you got questions, holler at us. So let's get cranked up here on this beautiful day and talk about some good news, some good information that's going on at Oakley Trucking. And we're talking about the pay raise that just went into effect effective May 3rd, 2021. So, we here at Oakley Trucking, we're very proud to be able to give owner-operators a pay raise anytime we can. And I want to talk a little bit about why Oakley Trucking decided to do it and exactly how it works. Also with me today, I got my man in the background, Hunter Loy, that's taking care of the camera and, make sure everything's working like it should and let me know if we screw anything up. So glad he's with us today. But let's talk about, one, I think I would like to talk about why we gave a pay raise. And I think a lot of you guys, owner-operators out there, want to know why. Well, there's several reasons that we've all talked about, and I've put my thoughts into it. I've called Scott and got his thoughts. Manley got his thoughts of just to give you guys a little rundown. It may be information you don't care about, but I feel like you need to know. So, one of the things is our owner-operators deserve the pay. We feel like you guys deserve more money. And when there's an opportunity in the trucking business, I mean, to make more money, which we all know right now, the business is booming. Customers can't find trucks. And you take that opportunity for us to, as a company, to make more money. Well, we also are able to pass it down to the owner-operators and let them make more money. And that's because you deserve it. One, it's a hard job. This is not an easy job for an owner-operator at Oakley Trucking to do. We all know the dry bulk business is a challenge. because you have a lot of responsibility on you as an independent contractor working for Oakley Trucking. There's no secret. We rely on you guys heavily to be able to do the job. I mean, you are the face of Oakley Trucking out there, and it's not always easy. You're dealing with all the customers, you're dealing with all the traffic, you're dealing with all the safety rules. I mean, the independent contractor, the truck driver has to do all this, and we just feel like you deserve it. And the more we can pass along to our owner-operators, money-wise, is just the better we think the company is, and better you're going to be successful, because we're all about making you successful. So one is you deserve it. The other thing I think is that we have to always gauge what the competition is doing in the dry bulk business, and we have forever been known as the leader in the dry bulk business. The dry bulk industry, you think of that, you think of Oakley Trucking, because we are, we consider ourselves a notch above everybody else. I don't mean that in a bad way, and being cocky. We just are confident that we can provide good customer service to all our customers through our owner-operators. Well, to do that, you got to stay ahead of the competition. So to be the best, you got to pay the best, and that's something that we talk about all the time. Is we want to be that best company out there. So you have to kind of keep your finger on what the competition is doing, and know where where you're at, whether your pay is high, low, medium, whatever. We always feel like we are the highest paying dry bulk company that there is in the industry, and to do that, I mean, we got to stay ahead of the game. We got to be the first ones, and we don't do the penny here, penny there. We knock out 5, 10, 15 cent raises. So that's what makes a difference, I think, in the business. And I mean, when you're staying ahead of the competition, you have to have the owner-operators that are representing you they've got to stay ahead of the competition. We got to look better than the competition. We got to be better than the competition. And that all comes down to customer service and you guys out there knowing how to take care of the customers. And it just, man, when you do just as good a job as you're doing, it's easy for us to reward you, and we feel like you deserve it too. So a couple things there. Our owner-operators, you got to deserve it. We try to stay ahead of the competition so we can provide that best customer service. The other thing is retention. I mean, we want to keep everybody. Everybody that represents us well, we want to keep. That's what it's all about, is trying to find, you spend all this time finding a good owner-operator. Well, you want to keep him. Yeah. So you got to be clean cut and, clean shaven, haircut, good looking truck, good attitude, good language, good hygiene, got to represent well. That's the whole big picture, that we're trying to do here. Well, to keep everybody, so if you don't know, if you're a new listener to this podcast, we have an annual bonus that we pay to all our owner operators. And it starts out, and I'm going to get a little depth here in a minute, but it starts out at 5 cents on all your loaded miles, and you get that on your anniversary date. Then the next year you get 6 cents. Next year you get 7. Well, we have doubled that. So instead of starting out 5, you get 10, 11, 12. There's no cap to it. The longer you're here, the more you're going to make. I'm going to show you a little bit, tell you about some numbers here in a minute on that too. But keeping a guy, so we give them this annual bonus every year to look forward to. Gives you something to look forward to. Hey, I stay here another year. I moved up another on mileage pay, plus I'm getting a big fat check. And it gives you something to look forward to every year where you can make a good living. Because let me tell you, retaining truck drivers is a challenge at any trucking company. I brag on this one because we got a 30% turnover rate, which seems high probably to a lot of people, but when you compare us to over the road other trucking companies, they're at 80, 90 to 100%. I'm so glad I don't work for one of them, because it's just a constant turnover. Well, with us, I mean, we have a 30% turnover rate. Basically, we average probably 15 to 20 drivers a month leaving Oakley. Well, out of 850, 15 to 20 is not bad. I hate to say that because I don't want to lose that many, but it's not bad when you're talking 850 owner-operators. Well, to try to – and that goes – man, you can get off in a whole nother episode with this when you're talking about why is that, Jeremy? Why 15 to 20? Well, between terminations, health, trucks going down, guys just not liking it, I mean, it doesn't take long to add up to, 4 or 5 a week. That's just the way it is in the trucking business. Thank goodness nobody, very, very few people leaving here mad, so we try not to – we don't want that to happen. But retention is something that we've always focused on because we've known if we can keep more owner-operators here, then the recruiting handles itself, and it does itself, the work itself, and helps us a lot in that department. So retention is a big key for this, is why we did this raise too on the annual bonus, because we want to keep guys. So the other one, I think the last one I thought about to helping us the most and why we did this was recruiting, trying to find more owner-operators. I know you think, a lot of guys think, well, man, they're everywhere, but you guys are not everywhere. Truck drivers are hard to find, especially the kind that we look for. I mean, you got to realize we're looking for professional truck drivers, and that specific one that fits the bill for here at Oakley. Well, they're hard to find. And to spend this money to help guys entice them to come over from other divisions, whether it's flatbed, dry van, reefer, whatever, that we're hoping that helps, to help recruit owner-operators to this business, because, I mean, the way it is right now, customers can't find enough trucks. I mean, I just got off the phone with Scott. He's out visiting customers, and he says, I've never seen anything like it. Every customer we've gone into say they can't find enough trucks.
Slim pickings.
It's just slim pickings. So we're trying to recruit as hard as we can because the opportunity is out there to grow right now. And it seems like when that opportunity is out there to grow, that's when it's the hardest to grow. So by giving this raise, we hope it's going to help on that side of it, maybe entice some company drivers to go to become an owner-operator. We target that a lot. And we hope this raise does that too. But the fact is, I mean, there's just not enough truck drivers out there, and there's not enough coming in. I think y'all realize, last year truck driving schools shut down and things. Everything stopped, and no truck drivers are coming into the industry. And well, those are our guys in 2, 5, 10, 15 years. Those are the people that come to Oakley Trucking. And it's just now we're seeing the after effects of all that happening to where we just don't have the biggest pool as we needed. I'll be honest with you, this is probably the slowest time in recruiting that I've ever seen, and we're spending more money than I've probably ever spent trying to generate leads into the recruiting department to find owner-operators. So hopefully this pay increase will help. But hopefully that explains why to all our listeners. I mean, I want you guys to understand why we're doing it. First, you guys deserve it. We're trying to stay ahead of the competition, retention, and recruiting. That pretty much sums it up. I mean, all in 4 things right there. Let's take a quick break and talk about Aero Truck Sales. Keith Wilson and Trey down in Springfield, Missouri, those guys do a fantastic job on selling trucks to owner-operators that are looking to come on to Oakley Trucking, and just want to make sure you guys know about them. We've dealt with them a long time. They are no leases, straight financing, specialize in first-time truck buyers, 5-year or newer tractors, all makes and models, less than 400,000 miles. They run a great program there. The best thing I like about them is service after the sale. Be sure and tell them you heard all this on the Oakley Podcast, and they'll also give you a choice of $600 worth of fuel or $600 truck accessories, or they'll pay half your first month payment if you finance with transport funding. Check them out. Call Keith Wilson at Arrow Truck Sales, 573-216-6047. Give them a call and let them know you heard it on the Oakley Podcast. Okay, let's get fired up here on the next section of this episode, the Oakley Podcast, sponsored by Arrow Truck Sales and Lube Zone. Appreciate those guys. Appreciate all our listeners hanging in there too and checking us out every week. I talked to one guy a while ago. I was in the office, and I said, "Hey, you ever listen to the Oakley Podcast?" He said, "Yeah, I do." He said, "I don't every week." He said, "A lot of times I wait and they build up and I kind of binge watch or all of them." I say, "Hey, whatever works, man. You know, we want you to listen to them because we're trying to give good information out to all our owner operators and their families." So let's talk about how this pay increase works. I know it's probably simple to everybody. We sent out an email to everybody kind of explaining it, but thought maybe, we would just take the time here to explain a little bit about it. I mean, it's pretty simple. I know you probably have it and understand it, but so we went up on 5 cents a loaded mile in every division. So end dumps, hoppers, pneumatics, vacuum pneumatics, go up 5 cents on all loaded miles, and it's pretty simple to calculate. I mean, nothing on empty miles, and we also went up on 5 cents on your annual bonus. Now, so I guess an example, you drive 80,000 loaded miles a year, which probably everybody does that, pretty close to it. Well, that's another $4,000 just on the nickel on your base pay. You also get a nickel on your annual bonus. So total of 10 cents on all your loaded miles. And so you're talking, man, anywhere probably from $7,000 to $10,000 at least a year, more than what you're making now. So I think the annual bonus to me intrigues me more because I'm a longevity man. I like to stay at a place. I like to keep a pickup a long time.
You've been here a little while.
I like that longevity stuff there, Hunter. So to me, it makes sense for guys that are here for the long haul, and also get them to think about that when that annual bonus keeps building up. So right now, if you were here before, you start out your first year, you get 5 cents on all your loaded miles. Well, we have changed that to now your first year you get 10 cents on all your loaded miles. So it basically, instead of starting at 5, it's starting at 10. So after your first year, you go to 11 cents a loaded mile, and then 12 cents, and then 13 cents. I had a guy call me today to just verify this so he would understand it, and Delbert Bennett, and I can't remember how long he said he was here. I think he said he was here 15 years. And I said, okay, so you're between your 15th and 16th year, so he went from 20 to 25 cents a loaded mile. Now, you add that up, 25 cents a loaded mile for at least 80, 90, even 100,000 miles. I mean, that's big money. That's big money right there. Let's just say 90,000.
And it's basically like you guys have taken 5 to 6 years off of service and just given it to the guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's $22,500 annual bonus check. Guy that's been here 15 years. It's to me, that's where the money's at right there. Now, what you got to understand, so this goes in effect May the 3rd, 2021. So starting May the 3rd, 2021 is when your new annual bonus pay starts. if this makes sense. We'll try to. So if I had an anniversary date, say next month, June the 3rd, well, and it was my first year. Well, come June the 3rd, I would get 10 cents from May the 3rd to June the 3rd. For just a month, I would get 10 cents. Everything prior to that year, I'd get 5 cents because that's just when it starts right there. And I want everybody to understand that because I don't want them to think, hey, I'm getting an anniversary bonus check in June, and it's going to be we're paying back all those miles. It starts May the 3rd. Whatever miles you start running on May the 3rd forward is what the new pay increase brings. So it makes sense. I hope it makes sense to everybody. Now, it's not paid on dedicated hauls. I say dedicated, percentage, because you may be on some dedicated that's paying you mileage, and it does pay on that. But it doesn't pay on percentage hauls. So, and we don't have a lot of them, but we got several percentage hauls that guys do, and it doesn't affect that at all. And basically, if you're on that percentage haul, the only way you're going to get a raise is you either go to mileage pay, and get off the percentage pay, or as you guys know that's on it, rates change. That's when you get your raise. So, and that happens. That happens pretty regular too.
We announced this today, and it seems like being pretty overwhelming. We reached 1,500 people in 3 hours, and everybody's just responding back with thank yous and everything else. So.
Yeah, we've had a lot of good response with it, and that's a good point, Hunter. I haven't had any negative response to this raise, which I don't know how there would be, but we've not had any negative response. I've had a couple of questions, just like the one I answered on the dedicated. One guy asked about a dedicated from Glenwood to Irving and saw the increase in mileage pay. Will that affect me? No, it's just mileage pay. And on the annual bonus, is it just for the first year? No, it's every year. So it starts off at 10 cents the first year, and then it goes up a penny every year you are here, and there is no cap to it. And you guys got to understand, we've got a lot of success stories here at Oakley Trucking, from guys from Tom Riley to Jimmy Murphy to Raymond Carnes that have been here for 30 years, 20, 25, and 30 years they've been at Oakley Trucking. And we've got a whole bunch of guys that are at the 5, 10, 15-year mark, a whole bunch of those guys. So we know that this pay increase is going to really affect a lot of our owner-operators in a great way, and glad that they're with us, glad that they are success stories. It's just all good times around Oakley Trucking. And, even though it's hard to find owner-operators, I can't stress you enough. I know you guys that help us recruit, we so much appreciate helping us recruit, and we need more of it. I've said this a bunch of times, but we'd rather pay you guys to help us recruit than I had advertising companies, and that's the way it is. But we have to get some leads, and we need your help. And don't think that you're recruiting, you're going to take away from what you're doing, because it's not going to take away from what you're doing. We have so much to do right now that it's crazy. So
Seems like it's a great time to come to Oakley.
It's a great time to be coming to Oakley. So, which brings me to, if you are interested in Oakley Trucking and it's something that you've been thinking about, maybe going from that company job to jumping into that owner-operator business, but you don't know how, you're not sure how to do it, call us up here at Oakley Trucking, and we will help walk you through it every step of the way. We've got an episode that me and Dustin Eagle did not long ago that helps answer all those questions about going from company driver to owner-operator. If you're already an owner-operator, I really suggest you look into the pay package that Oakley offers and compare it to what you're doing. Call us up here at the office, a recruiter, and we'll compare, miles to miles. If you're getting percentage pay, then we'll convert it to mileage and go, hey, here's what you would make. If you did that trip with Oakley Trucking, here's what you would make. Here's our deductions. We'll compare that stuff to see, because we want you to improve your situation. We're not telling you to come to Oakley to take a pay cut and do less. We want you to improve the situation you're already in. So, it's just a great opportunity at Oakley Trucking. We're ready to grow. We need to grow. We've got a lot of things going on, from, more dedicated hauls coming available that we're doing now, to different, even some local work occasionally. We got some stuff in St. Louis that we opened up that port up there with some, fertilizing grain that's moving. I mean, just a lot of things that's going on here and we need good people. We need professional owner-operators to help us get this job done. So if you're interested in doing that and joining the Oakley team, call us at 800-662-0875. We'll have the number up here on the screen or down below. You can check us out on our website, bruceoakley.com. And appreciate everybody listening. Hey, we've got some good stuff coming up in a couple of weeks. Next week, we're going to have one of our own owner-operators. We're going to talk to him, visit with him about his success story and him just purchasing a new truck and how all that went down. So we're going to talk to him about that and a couple more things way ahead of us. Just looking forward to it. Some good episodes. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week.